Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Idle Zeros. And we've got a good one for you today. If you saw my blood bending video about Vortex and how fair TBB is, I cleared Overseer on the main account. And there were still some skeptics about Betty. So what I did was not only did I do this on my SAHY account, I well, which has like its train is like 8 to 9 times smaller than on the main. This has like 700k attack. I show it at the very end, but um, I did it. I cleared up to Overseer 1, and then not only did I clear Overseer 1, I took off the Awakened from SAHY, so I did it without Giant Killer and without the associated attack and HP buffs that you get from having a humongous Awaken. So I cleared Overseer 1 with an unawakened SAHY. I also regressed Destiny. So this is a no Destiny, no Giant Killer clear of Overseer 1 using just Therapist of Blood Betty. So that's obviously extremely funny because of how stupid Betty is. Um, in my opinion, she is the most overpowered hero that's ever been released in terms of disruption of the meta. Um, she might have Valkyrie beat in terms of how much she disrupted everything. Ada, I'm just gonna go through like all the meta heroes. Valkyrie, Ada, I think this is worse. And then of course in recent times, Doom Terminator Vulcan, who of course was ridiculous in combination with Hyperspace Hunter Ilamok in terms of just overall content domination. B plus DTV was competing with A tiers when it comes to Void campaign pushing, which at the time was crazy. But this is just a whole other level of stupidity and silliness. Just ignoring any and all divine power for 50 to 60 consecutive rounds, in some cases, of nonstop crowd control, which is, it's what's wild. It really is wild. And the only thing that makes me apprehensive to calling her the just most overpowered broken thing that's ever hit the game is she's terrible at boss fights, so you don't use her there, and also Valkyrie waves. She does no work at all in breaking those sort of barriers to you in Void campaign, and for that reason, I'm still stuck on 612 on the main account. I'll try again when I get more divine power, but who knows when that'll be. But regardless, though, this is the Overseer clear using my Star Alchemist Holmes Young account. And I was ecstatic to make this happen. I was grinning throughout pretty much the entirety of the recording, which was several hours long, by the way, because I wanted to watch every single fight. And since the start of this video, I don't know how many minutes it's been, but this is the same fight that we've been watching. Like it's insane. Thankfully, the game ramps damage up for you, in addition to having Antlers gain after round 15, so that's nice. You'll notice I'm not using any of the damage scaling pets. Um, the wolf or the snake would be great here, as you may know. The issue there is I don't have demon bells on this account. You'll notice perceptual disorder just saved us from Vulcan's wrath, and that'll be a clear. Just thanks to that. So, uh-oh. Actually, is this a fail? It is. Oh my God, I can't believe I had that in the footage. I don't believe it. That's embarrassing. Whoops. But yeah, this video is going to be a marathon, and then I just skip it because I know it looks possible in theory. So there's that. Moving on to the next fight. Um, Holmes Young is in here because he offers CC a lot of the time. This is me just checking if I was still screen recording. Um, the issue with that, I mean, I kept him in anyway because like, the hero at this point isn't going to matter. He offers CC under the condition that you don't have the energy debuff from the vortex radiation, the one that reduces 100 energy at the start of every round. Obviously, he's not going to do anything when that happens. But yeah, I wanted to save the signets for Overseer 1, so I opted to just let him die, which is fine. But yeah, TBB doesn't need an A tier. She doesn't need full subs. And depending on how many cores you have on the account, she doesn't need a full core either. This is with level 4 core. This is Slope. He's my friend. I mentioned him in my pseudo retirement video. I say pseudo because I didn't retire. But I told him to stop texting, or I didn't tell him to stop texting, but I told him that he is featuring in my video presently, because I forgot to turn on Do Not Disturb. And so he decides to do me a little solid here in a moment. Very, very funny. Ugh. So I die there. I decide to re-roll. Obviously don't want SQH. These waves aren't terrible though. Yeah. uh, this is uh, this is one of the waves where I can explain sort of why the mirror, because this is with a glittery mirror. You can't just do this without it, because mirror gives you the energy feed that triggers her passive active at the start. Okay. Of every round. And so Star Alchemist Holmes Young, his passive removes beat up, debuffs. And so if you don't have the mirror, he can just he has a very high chance to ditch the twine. And he also has Portal of Stars, which makes it so he gets an active skill, which is obviously a very, very dangerous thing because he hits like everybody with poison and he hits the back line and he also gives you perceptual disorder on your highest attack allies. So you really do need the glittery mirror for this. He starts slandering my boy, which I wasn't too fond of. He's not a fraud trans. He's the best trans. Best in the game. And then, but yeah, glittery mirror is the key here. I don't think it's possible to do this without it. And I also didn't have demon bells. I don't remember if I finished the point about the monsters. But I don't have demon bells, so I use the energy feed wolf. Or fox, I think it is. Fox? Sure. Yeah, I use the fox. And there are sometimes, I don't know if it's in this footage, if I managed to capture a clip of it, but it does save me at various points where I don't have enough energy, such that the 5 energy gained from the glittery mirror pushes me above threshold. And so the fox just barely gets me to the next active skill, which saves the fight. Here, Slope's going to get a little bit out of pocket, so um, brace yourself. Yeah. And then at that point, I wasn't sure how escalated the situation was going to get, so um, I do put on Do Not Disturb. I did get the link, if you're wondering. I did get the link, so that was good. That was good there. But moving on back to this. This is obviously the dot team, and this team is a little bit dangerous because if you kill Eos, you actually get damaged and energy drained at the end of every round by her engulfing sun thing. Or undying sun. I'm not sure which one is which. Because the sun she spawns in has different functions, depending on if it's from her active or if it's from her dying. But regardless, if you kill Eos first, you run the risk of the sun killing you. Or at least draining your energy and allowing the other ones to kill you. Which is obviously not great. But obviously at this point, you know that we succeed. So that's nice. I'm still chasing the perfect 6 hero perceptual disorder. But every time I think about manufacturing a situation where that would be possible, my brain just starts hurting. Can't figure it out. Like, it seems possible in theory, because he can get 2 back-to-back Portal of Stars actives, and he also has his core. I'm just not really sure how to go about making it happen. But I don't know. Maybe I'll figure it out. Maybe I won't. But I think this will be the last of the Overseer 2 planets. Well, we're just going to have to sit here with me as we sit through it. Yeah. But this recording was a bit of a disaster because I was hanging out in one of the school classrooms at my university, and so I have this door card. It's effectively a key that gets me into the rooms I am cleared to get into. So I hang out in these rooms just when I feel like being there. And so I left to go get a drink of water from the local water fountain. And then I left my card in the room and I locked myself out while I was screen recording. It was like 10 p.m. So I had to call campus security and they had to come let me back in. So somewhere in my deleted footage, there's like 30 minutes of just the fail screen because I was out of the room when it was screen recording and I couldn't turn it off. So that's very funny. But yeah, it obviously worked out. I would lock myself out of the room all night if I knew that it would result in such magnificent content. But here's the sun. I can't tell if it's damaging us, but by the time Eos dies, our damage is ramped up so high that we can kind of just take the sun because we don't die. Rather because everybody else dies quite soon after. TBB dying at the very, very end, but it worked out. Very nice. So moving along, now we're in Overseer 1, and you'll notice the Awaken and the Destiny are both removed from Star Alchemist Homes. So the highest awaken we have on this team is now B tier. So those of you saying GK though, A tier though, Destiny though, so that's enough. Um, like I was saying, it's about the mechanics of the fight and the landing, the crowd control. It does not matter what your damage dealer's attack is. It doesn't matter what your damage dealer's awaken is. Betty will lock them down forever, and the game will ramp up your damage for you. So like it doesn't matter. People just say GK though, giant killer though. I don't understand. It's just a lack of critical thought about the fight mechanics, in my opinion. They think that A tier just automatically is like an easy win button. It's not. It gives you more damage, but if you don't have the mechanical technique or the mechanical strategy ready to focus on a fight where you can't just nuke it down, A tier doesn't do anything. Especially not here when you have 12, when you have a divine power gap of, it's literally 12. And I don't know how much extra damage and how much less damage we do to them and how much more damage we take from them. But it's absurd, and everything procs on Bending Will now. And so this is with the Holmes at this point doesn't even have 7 million attack. So again, it's Train is another one. Big Train though. Like it's divine power gap of 12. Train's not going to do anything. It doesn't matter if I have it. Oh, yeah, people just frustrate me sometimes. But yeah, 700k attack. Which, if I recall correctly, is something achievable by long-term free-to-play players who have a very, very large guild coin, guild treasure train thing. And also those who go in on events that give you train tickets as rewards. Lots of my, well, not lots of them, but a lot of my accounts have been free-to-play since Train came out. And these are like month old, like accounts that are only a few months old, and they already have like 300, 400k attack from Train. So like this isn't out of the realms of impossibility, even if Train was a source of the victory here, which frankly I don't think it is, because a lot of my Train is for it's a Void campaign. And it's Festival Treasure. I don't think I have any for Void Vortex. Beyond, like, just your standard RNG dispersal of stuff. But regardless, though, Holmes Young is useful here for stacking CC. Starwing Jara would, of course, be nice, instead of Drake, maybe. The reason I like Ilamok is because he's very, very good at staying alive. And so whoever has the mirror, if they die, you die, basically. So you need Betty to live, and you need Ilamok to live. You don't necessarily need SAHY to live. There was a fight, I don't know if I have it in the footage that I'm going to be uploading in this video, but Holmes died very early. Sorry, SAHY died very early. I don't want to confuse anybody because Holmes is also on the field. SAHY dies early, and I skip it, and then the fight still resulted in a victory. I don't even know how long it must have lasted without Antler's Cane. But regardless, it was a victory. But yeah, the more CCs, the better. Perceptual Disorder functioning as like a super CC in case anybody breaks out, which is nice. But then Vulcan, obviously, you can see the glow around him. He's just sitting there with the weakness disclosure active on deck, ready to go. But he's just gonna get edged into his death. Never gonna be able to release that. But even his basic, that would kill everybody on the team, I think, at this point, if not most of the team. But luckily, we don't have to watch that. You'll notice their health bars are finally starting to move, which is nice. Very, very nice. After this clear of Vortex, I swapped to Phantom Defier Eleda so that I could get some help with the Island 2 boss, just for some free Destiny materials and some Stellar and Crystals of Transcendence. So that's quite nice. And then after that, I will probably switch back to Star Swordsman Mockman. Because I don't think I need to push Void Campaign as of now. And I think Mockman, maybe I won't. Maybe I won't switch to Mockman. Maybe I'll switch back to Betty so I can push Tower. Sorry for the screen flashes. This is just a very cool screenshot with all the doves and the twines. Yeah, I'm undecided because Mockman's funnier and gives more attack. But in terms of function, I think TBB would be better. So we'll see. I have 10 soul symbols, so I have to decide between one or the other. This is where it gets dangerous because TBB feeds herself energy based on the amount of twines she does. And when there's only 2, 3 enemies on the board, that's not much energy she can feed herself. And so it's not uncommon for the fight to last like 40, 50, 60 rounds. And then we just die because TBB can't feed herself enough energy. But so there's the first island. Here's a screenshot. Round 56, round 61, and then here it is. All right. We ultimately failed. TBB died for some reason. I don't remember what caused it. I think it was failed energy feed because, again, no demon bells. So there's a chance that the monster doesn't save us. Holmes broke out and killed us. But so here's the next fight. Generally, you can tell if you've been pushing Vortex for a little bit with TBB, you have a sense of which stages are good and which ones are bad. Generally, something with SSM and DTV or SSM and Holmes Young are extremely easy. Vulcan, not DTV, but Vulcan, like the ones here. I like those waves a lot because when they break out, if they break out and TBB had failed to get enough energy, their basic does pretty much nothing. And so it just gives TBB enough energy to trigger her passive active skill and then lock everybody else down. So Vulcan waves seem very, very safe, which I like. But yeah, this is basically just rinsing and repeating. I wanted to get Amun-Ra and put her in over Drake because I'd like the team to die like in order, not necessarily one at a time, because if we kill one, well, it's just one extra chance that we don't land a CC. So it gets a little bit more scary. But with that being said, I mean, Amun Ra would make this very, very easy, I think. So if you're looking to do this, maybe build an Amun Ra, because we would be building up all of these bubbles over this time. So I don't know if there are any limits on the amount of bubbles you can stack, but because I've never used Amun Ra um, like as a main component to a team. I've thrown her in like circumstantially, of course, every now and then in like Dark Sea Land, but she was like 5 star. Um, but it just seems to me like she would just be stacking bubbles all this time, and then it wouldn't even matter if they broke out after a certain point. We would just be immortal. Whether or not that would work, I don't know. Somebody who's more familiar can tell me. But like you'll see all these actives that Holmes and Drake are getting off. So those are all active skills that Amun Ra could be getting off as well. Very nice. But yeah, obviously, if you're going to do this, do it with the Demon Bell. And that way you won't need to use the Fox. Or even 2 Demon Bells. That would be very nice. 3 Demon Bells even. 4 Demon Bells, why not? Well, probably not 4 Demon Bells because you want Rui on TBB, you need Mirror on somebody else, and you'll want Antlers. So 2 to 3 Demon Bells, that'd be pretty cool. It would certainly save you the headache of missing active skills. But obviously, it didn't bother me very much. The Fox was more than adequate, and some fights we didn't even need Fox to help with the energy feed. Boy, I'm gonna start running out of things to say soon. Just walking around. Extremely funny. Oh yeah, you'll want CC Purify on TBB so that she doesn't get CC'd. That does happen with some of the vortex radiation waves. So if she's dazzled, I tested this with LFA a while ago, where if he's dazzled or taunted, his death spread thing, where he's supposed to fear the whole team, it only fears one enemy. It's the same deal with TBB. She won't CC the whole team if she's taunted or dazzled. And the radiation can dazzle. So put on CC Purify to avoid that. You'll notice the team starting to drop. No more Holmes Young. But that's okay. Oh yeah, the purpose of the Suicide Ignis. Ignis just feeds energy on death. And so the goal is to have the first attack of the wave. Kill the Ignis, feed the energy to TBB, and then that just starts the CC chain. And then the fight's just home free after that. If you don't have a Suicide Ignis, you run the risk of death. Because there are 6 enemies with divine power that you now need to avoid. If you don't want to run Suicide Ignis, you don't necessarily have to, but you'll want to look for waves with a carry, because carry's basic, feeds 50 energy, and then reduces the whole energy. If you guys know Cosmo Boxer, he's mentioned by name by Barry a few times for being just an absolute Giga Brain Idle Heroes player. I couldn't figure out why Carrie was giving TBB her passive active upon the basic. But then he basically just said, read skills, idiot. And I read the skills and I was like, I'll be damned, you're right. Carrie's basic feeds 50 energy and then removes the whole energy, dealing damage. If she didn't feed energy, she just wouldn't do much damage because she deals damage accordingly to how much energy she drains. So, thank you, Cosmo. Appreciate it. I don't remember if this is a win or a loss. I think this is a loss because SAHY's going to break out and kill us. Here it is. Yeah, feels bad. But it looks mechanically possible. So I'm just like, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to spam it and we're going to get victory. You'll notice I have quite a few signets left over. That's because signets aren't needed. Because, again, it's about the mechanics. If you just have the mechanics to strong arm the enemy into never attacking, it doesn't matter what your signets are. So you don't need the protection. Sometimes you do, though. I like the one where it drains 100 energy. You need trans protection, so that doesn't happen to TBB. There we go. Last planet now. And it was at this point I knew victory was inevitable because this is an extremely mechanically easy fight to overwhelm with TBB. So, yeah. SAHY kills the Ignis, triggers the passive, and we're off to the races. And this will be it. This is the last fight of the video. I think I recorded all of my fights, like starting at Overseer 4, but this video is already long enough. And it would basically just be more of the same. There's no unique content over there. It's just that the fights don't last as long. But it's the same formula. TBB locks everybody. And then you chip away forever. But yeah. Very fun. Very cool. To those of you who are skeptical about TBB still, I don't know what I'll convince you at this point. Like, this isn't like a uniquely strong account. I don't think I have any. I don't have the CI offset treasure from Treasure Token. I think I just straight up don't have that one. I think my control precision one is like 1 star. So like my treasure train that gives CC chance isn't big. My mage star spawn is level 100 with no awaken. So like it would only be better with those things. There's lots of room for improved CC odds, and this is only level 4 core. I say only. That might be unachievable for lots of you still, which is fine. But this is endgame content, in quotes, obviously now, because now I'm doing endgame content where I was a mid-game player in Chapter 3. And so, well, just a bit of perspective for you. I had some Void campaign footage at some point, but it's gone. I lost it. So sorry about that. But basically, I swapped SSM to TBB. This TBB used to be SSM because Tenet. And I cleared a chapter and a half of Void campaign. I'm on 352 now. I was just barely into chapter 2 when I made the swap. So yeah, TBB is goofy and probably very unhealthy for the game, and probably will be unhealthy until they release some sort of other mechanic or hero that does something stupid. That being said, Gaggy is not getting very much attention. I think she ought to at least be thought of a little bit because, like I said, taunt prevents TBB from CCing your whole team. It just goes to the taunter. So Maybe Gaggy, who has Taunt, might have some use in countering TBB in PvP game modes. Who knows? I sure don't. But yeah, wait a second. I just thought of something really funny. If you put a Rui on Unimax, he defaults to an active skill. So if you can get him to outspeed a TBB, you can just taunt. It's extremely funny. Homeowner Unimax meta incoming. And I'd love to see that. I know it might be Vampire. Somebody in the community has a Unimax account. I love it. It's very fun. Around 27, the health bars are only starting to budge now, which is obviously nice. We like to see that. Holmes Young got a skill out, and now you'll notice Unbending Will is on everybody. Thankfully, it wasn't an active because TBB reduces energy with her twines, which is nice. Like, they didn't even need to do that. They didn't need to reduce energy upon twines. She would be plenty strong with it, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what their intention was with TBB, because I doubt they meant to make something like this happen. But like it seems very much like they did, because the mirror plus TBB's mechanics, they're just designed to work together to create this overpowering CC meta. I don't know. Maybe it's like she's like the trans Eloise, where you just build her and then dwarf everybody else who doesn't have her in terms of your progress. I don't know, because this is like the second time in a row that this has happened. DTV plus HHA is just a deadly combination everywhere. And now it's TBB plus somebody with a glittery mirror is a deadly combination everywhere, except for boss fights. So I don't know, they just seem to put the pieces out such that they are deliberately designed to break the game in some way or another. But yeah, this is very satisfying as a DTV hater, watching him have weakness disclosure and then just never get it off. Heroes are going to start dying soon. But we do need to be careful. The Vulcans are going to die very early. The DTV and the SAHY are going to stay alive for a little bit longer. And that also means we will not have perfect energy feed. So we really, really clutched up with Holmes Young getting his doves off. That helped quite a bit. And now DTV will die. TBB gets an active. You'll notice she landed her twine, but is now unable to do an active next round. Thankfully, Holmes Young clutches up for us. Doves him. And now this will be the victory. Round 44. No Awakened SAHY, no Giant Killer, no Destiny materials, and there is the Overseer 1 clear. So, just for proof, here it is. 6.69 million attack. No Awaken. There's my Giant Killer. Felt bad without it, but now we have it. So that's cool. Here's the treasure train. There you go. 700k fixed attack. Like nothing for Void Vortex. You can pause that to sort of see what my bonuses are. But here's the home. Very nice. Very cool. TBB is not even in a home, so she doesn't need one. 352 in V camp. Not a very fun stage. But yeah. That's our TBB. So yeah, that's I think that's all I got for you today. I'm going to reload the Destiny on him so that I can continue to push content elsewhere. But that'll be it. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it.